33 disturbing secrets in Pokemon. I watched Pokemon with the FBI and found 33 disturbing secrets you definitely didn't know. Like this thing you didn't know about Meowth.
There are things you don't know about me, things I like to keep private.
Did you know Meowth was in love once? In Pokemon Adventures in the Orange Islands, Meowth first met the cute Meowsy during its food hunt. The crazy part is that the poor creature went as far as learning how to stand on its hind legs, and even watching speech classes to talk like humans, all to woo its crush. Unfortunately, Meowsy wasn't just vibing with Meowth, so she rejected Meowth, claiming Meowth was a freak and worse than a street Meowth. I felt so bad as I watched Meowth cry. The poor guy might never fall in love again. And you know who else might not? The Alolan Ninetales, because it wants people to stay away from it. If you read the Ultra Sun Pokédex entry for Alolan Ninetales, you will find out that the reason the Alolan Ninetales guides people all the way down to the mountain's base is that it wants them to hurry up and leave, while the Cantonian Ninetales is over here cursing people who touch its tail jokingly for 1,000 years. Birds of the same feather. I wouldn't play with this guy's tail if I were you. What I would do is show love to Tapig because of what its trainer did to it. You see, back when Tapig was little, it lost a battle which pissed off its trainer. Its trainer, Shamus, didn't want to abandon it. He tied Tapig's mouth shut and bound it to a post before he left, leaving Tapig unable to eat even after it got free. Tapig was literally gonna choke to death. Shamus can and should be charged with attempted murder. Shamus's manipulation treatment of Tapig affected it even after it bonded with Ash. I was so happy after Tapig evolved into Pignite and burnt Shamus's face out of sheer rage. Now I understand how Charmander felt when it was neglected by its trainer. Damien, former trainer of Ash's Charizard, came the closest to actually killing his poor Pokemon. Damien left Charmander out in the rain. How cruel. Charmander never left his spot because it always had hope that his trainer would come back, so it was willing to die waiting. Can you imagine how disturbing that is? This Pokemon would have legit died due to neglection and the rain. That's right, Charmanders can be killed by rain. The flame on its tail isn't just for aesthetics. It actually keeps the Pokemon alive. When the fire keeps burning, it proves that Pokemon is alive and sound. The crazy part is that it can express its feelings with the fire on its tail. The idea that a Charmander's life is threatened whenever it rains is pretty alarming too. What hurts me the most about this poor guy is that he can be killed with a simple water attack made by any water-type Pokemon. But what hurts more is Frostlass's riveting backstory that's lurking quietly in the shadows. Legend has it that Frostlass is the spirit of a woman who became lost and died on a snowy mountain. The regrets she had in life lingered on, which is perhaps why it freezes humans or Pokemon it likes and takes them to its chilly den, lining them up neatly as decorations. Team Rocket and even Ash, together with his team, fell into this trap. Frostlass is based on Yuki-onna, a yokai in Japanese folklore. In one region of Japan, the story goes that a woman was made to go into a bath when she didn't want to. Soon after, she disappeared, leaving only fragmented icicles behind. This Pokemon represents the terror and sorrow of such a cold and lonely death. In Pokemon Sun, it is said that Frostlass freezes humans and Pokemon it likes and uses them as decorations in its lair. Pokemon Moon mentions it feasts the frozen souls of men. It's said that on nights of terrible blizzards, it comes down to human settlements. If you hear it knocking at your door, do not open it. But it will break your door down and freeze your soul if you haven't subscribed to my channel. So subscribe, because Frostlass is just a call away. And if you think Frostlass is creepy, then you haven't heard of Sabrina. Unable to control her psychic powers as a child, Sabrina grew up unable to relate with people. She turned her mother into a doll for displeasing her, and her father jumped ship, abandoning her. As a teenager, the effects of her upbringing were obvious. She wasn't mature and taunted anyone unlucky enough to wander into her gym. It's only after Ash successfully defeated her and freed his friends from her powers that the more innocent side of her personality became alive again. I can't say the same for poor Lily, who cannot touch the Pokemon she loves. As a small child, Lily was attacked by Ultra Beast Nihilego, a Pokemon whose venom caused so much damage to her body and mind. Between the loss of both parents, her brother abandoning her out of guilt for being too afraid to help, and the resulting trauma, Lily was in an awful place. That's horrific! But you know what's more horrifying? The fact that simply touching a Metapod could result in its unfortunate end. It just makes me feel so sad for Metapod. It doesn't move because it's trying to avoid everything, any and all things that can make the transformation into Butterfree end sooner than expected. Harden until you can't anymore, Metapod, or Shedinja will steal your soul. Funny enough, this Pokemon doesn't even move. Its Pokédex entry for Diamond and Pearl explains that it is a discarded bug shell that came to life, and peering into the crack on its back is said to steal one's soul. Advise your kids to stay away from Shedinja's shell. But if you ever need a nanny to watch over them, I strongly recommend Drampa, because Drampa is a friendly dragon that loves children. It often befriends children from towns it lives near. Plus, he won't let anyone hurt these kids. And if one of these children were bullied, Drampa finds the bully and burns their house to the ground. Too bad for the bullies. Speaking of disturbing secrets, we have Cubone, who wears the skull of its dead mother on its head. It might actually be the only thing he could use to remember his mother, as it often cries over her death. This trauma makes him avoid people and anything that has to do with socializing with people and other Pokemons. What's darker about Cubone's story is that its tears aren't just ordinary. It alerts its natural predator, the Mandibuzz. You should probably guess what would happen to the poor guy if he gets caught by Mandibuzz. Justice for Cubone. It should be able to mourn its mother in peace. Well, it's not only Cubone that holds on to sad memories. Yamask does that too. Even its Pokédex entries can affirm that. It says, due to being a human long ago, Yamask retains its memories from before it became a Pokemon. It becomes furious when the mask is lost or taken away. If someone wears the mask Yamask carries, they will become possessed by Yamask. What's darker is that looking at the mask will make you cry. But there is a Pokemon that sees everything. It is Xatu. I'd like to read you a little Pokédex entry from Omega Ruby. Xatu stands rooted and still in one spot all day long. It can see both the past and the future. I think Xatu is a secret reference to the three-eyed raven in Game of Thrones. And I think Jinx is always trying to tell us what Xatu sees. You see, Jinx has a language that sounds similar to human speech and includes several cry patterns. But this language has yet to be deciphered. What does she want to say? I want to know. I want to know what this large purple lady is trying to tell us. Maybe she is speaking gibberish so we don't jinx her. Or maybe she's trying to warn us that Gardevoir might destroy the world. Gardevoir tends to be very protective of their trainers. So protective, in fact, that if their trainer is in danger, they can create a small black hole at will to protect them. But this black hole can destroy the entire Earth and all life in it. The Pokemon is willing to destroy the whole world in order to save its trainer. And they say Chivalry's dead. Did you know that there are underappreciated Pokemon? Alolan Raichu is on that list. This is because Raichus and Alola ate too many pancakes. Raichus turned into a completely different creature simply because they ate too many pancakes. This is the type of evolution I'm here for. I just have to eat pancakes to evolve. If that's the case, I think I should be evolving any minute now. Did you know that while James in Pokemon comes from money, Jessie grew up in a very poor home where food was scarce? And this does not stop her from always looking her best. If you observe Jessie like I have, you'll find out that she always has a full face of makeup, red lipstick, this uniquely styled hair, and green earrings. You also see that this isn't just for aesthetics. This little detail about Jessie just goes to show how much she hates being broke. Let me also inform you that there is a Pokemon twice as hot as the surface of the sun. This Pokemon is Magcargo. If the sun ever explodes, we can just send a bundle of Magcargos up there and we'll be fine. The insides of Magcargo are 18,000 degrees Fahrenheit. This creature can literally burn the entire world, while Beware can crush you into mush with just one hug. Beware is a very powerful Pokemon, and it loves to show affection by hugging its trainer. Here's part of the Pokédex entry. Many trainers members have left this world after their spines were squashed by its hug. Good Lord, that's sad. I guess you could call that a killer hug. How can someone find so much joy in pain? See? This one is much brighter. Gorgeisten wraps its prey with its arms and sings joyfully as it suffers. I've been exposed to so many horrors in this Pokemon journey. I didn't realize just how dark the Pokemon world truly is. A Pokemon that finds joy in the unhappiness of its prey is honestly one of the lesser monsters in this list. Let me expose this other monster that is strong enough to take down a skyscraper, Rhyhorn. If Rhyhorn gets mad, it just starts running in a straight line, not stopping for anything as it quickly forgets why it's running. Now that's funny. Just don't make this Pokemon mad. Let's talk about this Pokemon that is depending on mushrooms to survive. Sounds weird, huh? But Parasect is just a host bug being controlled by the mushrooms on its back. The bug is mostly dead, with the mushroom on its back having become the main body. The mushroom comes off. The bug stops moving. These mushrooms also drain Parasect's energy. Terrific! But I'm terrified at the fact that Araquanid drowns small Pokemon. According to the Pokemon Moon's Pokédex entry, it delivers headbutts with a water bubble on its head. Small Pokemon get sucked into the bubble where they drown. So whether it's drowning these Pokemon accidentally or purposefully, Araquanid is definitely drowning other Pokemon. I'd like to hope it's accidental, but either way, just stay away from this little life taker. Dang, the Pokemon show is actually way darker than I thought. Just look at this cute little guy with those purple eyes, bunny tail, and unique bottom teeth. Looks cute, right? I bet you don't see anything suspicious, do you? It's actually an abandoned plush doll that became this Pokemon. They live in garbage dumps and hunt for all the kids that abandoned them and left them to die alone. This sad thing is just wandering around looking for the child that threw it away. And what do you think it's gonna do when it finds the kid? If your kids ever had Banette as their doll and later abandoned it, please keep them safe or else Darkrai will give you nightmares. Folklore has it that on moonless nights, this Pokemon will make people see horrific nightmares. Looks like a demon. What's even creepier is the blue cloth on Honedge. If anyone dares to grab its hilt, it wraps the blue cloth around that person's arm and drains that person's life energy completely. I would rather have someone drain my energy than drink my blood. Golbat can drink more than 10 ounces of blood at once. If it has too much, it gets heavy and flies clumsily. Golbat's Pokemon Silver entry suggests it is a bloodsucker, and it seemingly has no end to its quest for blood. As it can drink that much, it can no longer fly correctly. They say vampires don't exist in Pokemon, but I'm beginning to think that they actually do. And there are also evil suckers disguised as Pokemon. Dusclops is one. It's said that its body is like a black hole. This Pokemon will absorb anything into its body, but nothing will ever come back out. Quick question, have you ever hated anyone deeply before? What was it like? I'm always trying to understand Mewtwo's hate for humans. Mewtwo hates humans so much, he actually killed a bunch of scientists in the first Pokemon movie in the lab where it awakens. Don't be a Mewtwo. Make amends with those that have wronged you. You might not get a second chance like Mallow did. Mallow's mom was sick, and Mallow had to endure through tough times as her mother was sent to the hospital many times. During one of her visits to the hospital, Mallow was fed up when her mother wouldn't stop apologizing. She told her mom that she hated her and ran away. Unfortunately, her mom passed away, but those words haunted Mallow. Hearing about Tapu Finney's ability to see anyone who moved on, Mallow ended up getting that chance to make amends with her mother when she was trapped in Tapu Finney's mist. I felt so emotional watching this. There is one more secret I must let you know. Did you know that in this video, I caught 32 Pokemon in real life?